Welcome back, everyone, to Real Estate Strategies with Remax Hallmark. I'm very excited to be here with the Volpe Alcorn team. We've got Michael and Steevie. Riley, unfortunately, had a bit of an emergency and couldn't join us today. He's got to take care of his little one. Totally understandable, so we'll miss him. But you guys have built an incredible business, an incredible team, and just am thrilled to be here with you guys and wanted to welcome you.
Thanks, Micah. Yeah, we're missing the Alcorn to our Volpe right now, but that's okay.
The Alcorn to our Volpe. So I'm just going to jump in and start asking you guys some questions. So we'll start with some warm-up questions and some quick kind of lightning intro. So what area do you guys live in?
We live in Keswick and service all of York region for the most part.
Okay, cool. And you guys are based out of the Newmarket office.
Mike grew up in Newmarket. I grew up in Keswick, but we both currently reside in Keswick.
Yeah, and you've got your whole team at the Newmarket office. Some renovations are being done, and you're going to be moving in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. So how did each of you get into real estate originally? Michael?
So I've been licensed now for 14 years, and well, that's a tough question. So after high school, I did go to college. Didn't love what I was doing there. I mean, it's going to sound funny, but I fell in love with $1 Million Listing. Been for such a long time. And I said, you know what? Like, I never really gave, real estate a lot of thought. My dad would always buy and sell homes growing up. So it was always something that I know he was really passionate about. Never got his license until I made him. So that was really, what got me looking towards the career. So I did go and get licensed. I worked by myself for 2 years. I realized I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And, I kind of said to myself, like, I don't have any degrees. I said, I either got to figure this out or I got to go get another job. So what I did was I joined a team. And rest is history, really.
Okay, cool. So interesting. So you joined a team originally.
So no, I worked on my own originally. I was 2 years licensed on my own. And then, I did some deals. Those deals dried up between, family, friends, referrals, and I just didn't know what to do after that to get some new business.
And then you joined a team.
You got it.
Okay, got it. Stevie, what about you?
So I did not go to college or university or anything. Real estate was my first choice career path right out of high school, pretty much, which was at the time. I think now real estate is becoming more of a first career for people, but it wasn't then. I've been licensed now for, I think it's 7 or 8 years. And then it was there wasn't many young people in the industry at all. It was very much usually a second career for most people. And I, to be honest, I don't even really remember exactly what made me get into it. I had an idea that I would like to flip homes for a living, that somehow I would do that and make a living out of it. And it just seemed like getting my real estate license was kind of the first place to start. And then once I started looking into how, realistically simple it was to get your real estate license in comparison to going and getting a college degree. And in relation to that, the amount of money you potentially can make and the success you could have, it sort of just seemed like a no-brainer to try to pursue it as a career. And so that's what I did. And then similar to Michael, I was on my own for about a year before Riley actually reached out to me. And then I ended up joining the team, and the rest is history.
Very cool. When you first started real estate, what type of agent did you kind of think you would become? And we'll start with Michael.
Well, watching $1 Million Listing, the high-end luxury realtor for sure. That was always the dream. And I think just watching the show, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Just get to walk around, awesome houses and make a lot of money. But you get a real reality check when you jump into the business, that's for sure. But yeah, no, that was definitely, what I would envision myself, I'd say, from the get-go.
Awesome. Stevie, what about you?
I think I just wanted any form of success.
Yeah?
Just anything. I was just trying to be able to do it and figure it all out. Obviously, the schooling doesn't really teach you how to run a business. It doesn't teach you what you actually need to do when your boots on the ground. And so when you come out of that, you're a little bit disoriented and trying to figure it all out. And I think, in the beginning, I just had this vision of success. I don't even know exactly what that looked like in particular as like the type of agent I would be. I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I only want to do luxury or I only want to do, it was never like that for me. It was more just like, I hope people will give me a chance and trust me. And yeah.
Awesome. Take us back to when you, if you guys can remember, when, because I have a hard time remembering, but when you guys got your first client and where your first client came from. We'll start with Steevie.
So, okay, I have two answers to this because I feel there kind of is two answers. So my very first client ever was a friend of mine who took a chance and he was ready to purchase his first house. So my very first client ever was a friend that I already knew that came to me, gave me the opportunity. I really had no idea what I was doing. Like I was so brand new, and I was lucky that he just happened to be ready to purchase his first home at the time and gave me that opportunity. So that was actually what my very first deal was. But I always refer to my first deal as when I joined the team, they taught me door knocking. And so, because I say this because that was, again, an opportunity that just fell into my lap. Like, I'm very lucky that someone was looking to purchase a house at that time, and they just came to me and was like, hey, like, I know you got your license, I'm going to use you. But the first deal I ever got that I actually had to work for and like figure out how am I going to get any business beyond that was when I joined the team. They taught me door knocking. And I think it was in my first like week of door knocking on my own, or first 2 weeks, I knocked on a woman's door and she was looking to sell. And I ended up actually getting 2 listings in one from it because she was selling her primary residence. And then she also had a vacant piece of land that she was selling. And that came from door knocking. And it was, and it was quick too. Like I said, it was probably within my first week of door knocking. And so thank God for me, that gave me like the encouragement and momentum to be like, hey, door knocking actually works. But yeah, so I got really lucky with that. And that's what I always kind of consider my first deal, because then at that point I actually had a better idea of like how things actually work. And yeah, so that was mine.
What about you, Michael?
Actually, a guy I used to work with at my job at a high school. I worked with him for a couple of years, and I was telling I was getting my, my license or whatever, and he actually waited around for me to finish my course, and then we went out and started shopping for homes. So that was my very first deal. Was a colleague.
Okay, cool, nice. What would you guys say was like the number one strategy or habit that really moved the needle for you, Steevie?
It was probably door knocking. And I'm the first to say, like, I hate door knocking. I hate it, but I did it. When building that database. I mean, again, I started in real estate at like 21 years old. Like I was very young. Same with Mike, but I really didn't have like any type of database. I didn't have like a whole roster of people that already owned homes and stuff like that. People my age weren't even purchasing homes yet, really, for the most part. And so building that database was the thing that got me any business. And it started with door knocking. So it's not something that I love to do. Like I'll admit that, 10 times over, but it was the thing that gave me the foundation to get a few deals under my belt and get that momentum going. And yeah, that was pretty much it.
What about you, Michael?
For sure, lead generation, whether it's door knocking or following up with people that you're talking to. I think that's the biggest thing. I think when you get into the real estate business, you're in the lead generation business, and no one really says that until you're actually in it, and you don't have a choice but to do it. So yeah, definitely lead generation that's what you do as a realtor.
I think that's where so many agents fail, right? Like they're super skilled and
part. Yeah, not that it's hard, but it's hard to just go and do it. Is the hard part.
Or a lot of people have a hard time with it for some reason. Yeah.
Because like what Mike said, it is true. When you first get into this industry, you think you're getting into the sales industry, and you're not. You are getting into the lead generation business. And so there's a huge misunderstanding of like what your days should actually look like.
Yeah. No lead gen, no business. What would you say a mistake that you made that cost you the most money over your career?
Probably not joining a team early on, I'd say. You just waste a lot of time trying to figure stuff out by yourself, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of, learning curves for sure. Like just go see a team that's doing what you want to do and just go see what they're doing. I think that's the biggest thing for sure. You're gonna waste a lot of time and money trying to figure all that stuff out yourself, and there's just so much out there that, and I think no matter what, you kind of go back to the basics at the end of the day, regardless of all the new stuff that's coming out that's going to help your business and whatnot.
I got a follow-up question for you because I think a lot of people wonder about this. So when you join a team, then when you decide to go on your own, are you worried about, when you're on that team, you're building that team's business, and when you leave, you're kind of starting over? Or how did you manage that?
Yeah. So kind of going into a team, are you building another person's business? Yeah, I guess you are. But at the same time, where I was in my life, all my friends were working down in the city, working internships, long hours, low pay. And I'm like, well, like, if this is just a learning curve for me, like, I was, 20 years old and we were doing 35 deals. Like I was making good money for, way more than my friends were ever making. And, I was giving half of that away. So it's like, it was, it's just your mindset, I think, going into it. And I think without that, like I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So I'm thankful I thought that way, I suppose.
Yeah, or like spinning your wheels for a lot longer, right? Like how many, I mean, we all hear the statistics. Agents come in, 1 in 10, 95%, 5% make all the money.
One thing like to add to that, because I agree. So when I was doing like recruiting, one of the biggest things that I went through it myself too, with the mindset thing, you see it all the time. Brand new agents come in and they're really concerned about commission and splits and all that stuff. And it goes hand in hand with choosing a brokerage and a team. And it's like, 50% of zero is still zero. Like we know that, we hear that all the time, but it is so true. It's like, if you're so worried about giving up half of your paycheck before you've even done a deal, you're focusing on the wrong things. If, joining a team is the difference between you doing any deals versus not at all. Like, what are you concerned about giving up some of your money for, right? Especially when they're taking a lot of cost off of you too, right? So
yeah,
it works out a lot.
Absolutely. Okay, so when did you guys realize that you weren't just selling homes, that you were building a business? Michael?
Probably. So this team I worked for, they ended up retiring. So it was kind of an easy transition for me to kind of do my own thing. And then, when I was there, I was just selling homes. I wasn't really, I was building a business for sure, but I wasn't paying for anything. I wasn't kind of...
All you had to focus on was selling homes.
Yeah. So like I wasn't building a business. I was building my own business, but I wasn't building like a team or anything. So I'd say once I ventured out on my own, that's when I really realized, okay, like you kind of got to watch where you're spending, what's worth spending money on, what's not worth spending money on. So yeah, I would say, when I took the leap of faith and went on my own there.
Yeah, and you would have then had to put in all your own systems and
Totally.
CRM and all that stuff. So you are really running a business.
Marketing yourself, where, that stuff was all done for me. And all I was doing was, knocking on doors and following up with people and making appointments.
Cool. All right. Okay, tell me, how did the Volpe Alcorn team come along? How did you start that? Why did you start it?
So it was actually, there was another guy that was in place of Riley for a short time. So when the team I was working for retired, I actually started the team with another guy. And then, we had a wicked couple years, and Riley ended up working for us, and he had a weird marriage, and I think his wife pulled him away from myself, and it was just me, him, and Riley. So Riley just took his position, and that was kind of that. So,
okay.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was a blessing in disguise for me, for sure. But it was a really weird situation.
So to better voice that, well, basically, so there was a previous business partner with Michael when he started the team, they came over from that team that retired together. So they just kind of started their own thing. And it was actually cool for them because a lot of the majority of that team went with them. So they did that. They had a bit of a falling out, and then Riley ended up stepping up into that position. But just to give you a little bit more background too on how, because the Volpe Alcorn team, that was the time the Volpe Alcorn team really came to be. But to give you a much larger picture background. So I joined the team, as I mentioned, about a year into the business. Riley was the one that called me. At the time, he was just a team member on the previous team.
Right.
And they were looking to expand. At that time, it was kind of just the three of them as guys, and they were kind of looking to bring on a female face just to get a little bit of diversity. And so I ended up joining the team, and it kind of grew from there afterwards. And then there was the falling out, and then Riley ended up stepping into the team leader position. And so they basically just rebranded everything as Volpe Alcorn and kept everything, pretty much the same. Riley was already very familiar with how they did everything and how everything was run, because it was really just the three of them working for quite a few years. So Mike and I actually met through me joining his team.
Really? I didn't know that.
And,
Interesting.
Eventually started dating and then got married.
So Michael, you were hitting on the team.
I know. So it's funny how when Mike and I first met, like, we were both in different relationships. Like, there was nothing, we ended up both becoming single around the same time. And then, the rest is history. But now we're on our second child. And so when
second child's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not just this fat, the second child. But so it wasn't until, because I was just a team member through all of this and, worked under Mike and everything the whole time. It wasn't until Riley stepped into the other role and we got married that I started stepping into a little bit more of a director of operations role and kind of helping them out with stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty much, since it's become the Volpe Alcorn team, that's how we've run it since then. It's been kind of the three of us. Riley and Mike are the decision makers on everything. They have, the lead on everything, but I just tell them what to do. And if they don't listen, it's a problem. Pretty much how we run.
So you're the decision now.
I mean,
okay, now I have so many questions.
Mike, just so you know, because this is another interest, because I'm telling you, we are a funny dynamic. We actually interviewed for an HGTV show one time based on really just our dynamic, because Mike and Mike and I are married, and a lot of people will tell you like they couldn't work with their partner. I know real estate's a little bit different. There were a lot of like husband and wife duos and stuff, but when you're running a team and you're, you have people under you and stuff, and you're trying to work together, it can be difficult. And so Riley's really good at managing mine and Mike's dynamic, and I try to manage their dynamic, and it's really funny. But we actually interviewed for a TV show one time. It obviously didn't end up going anywhere, but it's funny. It's funny.
I wonder if it maybe even works better because there's the three of you.
I think it does. I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys haven't met her yet. You'll meet her soon, but I used to work a lot with my wife, right? She had a design staging business.
Yeah.
And so we work together all the time. And so, that's an interesting dynamic. And so how is it just for realtors out there, moms and dads that have young kids in real estate, how do you guys manage that?
We're still really learning that, to be honest. It's pretty new for us. We're lucky in the sense that, obviously we both have a lot of flexibility because we're both in this career together. So basically what happened when our son was born 2 years ago is that's when I really wholeheartedly stepped into the director of operations role and pretty much stopped selling altogether. I mean, I do still sell and do still work with some clients that are like friends and past clients of mine, but for the most part, we're lucky that Mike was able to just take over my clients because he's a real agent as well, right? So I pretty much hand off any business that would come my way to Michael now to handle. We're like our kids in daycare and stuff now, so it gives us a little bit more time, but it's been it's basically was me having to step back and, take care of the little guy and just do as much as I could from the sidelines. We're also lucky we have a huge village. We have a really good support system between both of our moms. And so on days when I would need to work before he was in daycare, we would just have to lean on people to really help us out. And we've done our fair share of bringing Luke on showings, bringing him into the office. We've had him in the office with toys and stuff so we can just get some stuff done. Stuff like that. But it's difficult to manage. There's a few years of it being really hard, to be honest.
Yeah. You and I were just talking about this before that. It is really tough. I had 2 young kids, 18 months apart when I was in real estate, and it is tough, but you put your head down, you manage, you do what you can do. Like you said, you bring Luke to showings if you have to and whatever, but it does go so fast, right? Yeah. So why build a team instead of staying solo?
It's lonely out there. Like I did the single agent thing, and I think as soon as I joined a team, like I love that dynamic. I love that there was people always around you. I love that we were all doing, the same thing and everyone was lead genning at the same time. And I think that just helps keep you accountable and motivated to go out and do the things that you really just don't want to do, but you need to do them. So I just really love the environment of a team.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about you, Stevie?
Yeah, I think that's I mean, again, I wasn't part of the initial of creating this, but I think that's what it comes down to is if you're it's just not wanting to do it alone. It's especially in this industry, if you are someone who really needs accountability, even if you're a super successful agent and you get to that point where it's time to start a team because you have, so much business that you no longer can handle it on your own. Not everyone still is necessarily meant to run a team or be a team leader or has interest in that because it is a lot of work. And I think it takes a certain type of person, but that's exactly it. It's a person that would rather go together than alone. The type of person that just needs accountability themselves, that wants to come into the office every day and see people and be accountable to people themselves as a leader, right? I think that's why you would do it versus just stay solo.
Yeah. What are the first roles you guys hired for?
Admin, for sure.
Admin?
Yeah.
And tell me your team right now, how many on your team, how many admin, how many sales reps?
So one admin, Stevie's our director of ops. And we have 6 sales people.
Right. And full-time admin?
Yeah.
Full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you say for the admin, like you needed that just for leverage of your time?
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
She is the most important person on our team. She is.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Why would you say that, just for those listening?
Well, when she goes away on vacation, you should see how it falls apart around here, for one. So that says everything that you need to know. But it's just she really does everything. She does everything so that it makes it so that you hear this in, anyone who's a realtor has heard this, but our job as real estate agents is to go out and do the, $500 an hour, not the $10 an hour tasks. So she handles all of the everything so that all the agents have to do is go out and lead generate and go on appointments and sell houses. She does everything else in between, like between her and myself. Their only job is to go out and door knock or lead gen, however they're doing that, and to go on those appointments, go on those showings, and that's it. That's all they have to worry about.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was she your first admin?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because a lot of people sometimes have challenges getting a good admin.
So she actually was the admin for the former team that I was on, but because they retired, I just kind of picked up the ball with that.
Okay. Okay, cool. How do you guys drive consistent lead generation in your business?
For like the team or as on a personal level?
Both.
For the team, I'll be honest, that's probably one of our biggest challenge areas. Because we are primarily a door knocking team, or that's what we've always been. It's hard because people don't like lead generation. And I'll be honest with you, most agents join a team because they're not good at lead generation. Like that's usually the reason why you look for a team, because you do struggle to generate your own leads. And it's hard. It's the hardest part of the business. So even we struggle with keeping our agents consistent with lead gen, especially when it's getting them to go out and do something every day that they don't necessarily they're not thrilled to do. It can be really intimidating and hard. And when it's like -30 out and it's difficult. A few things that we try to do to keep it consistent and do our best with that is we have a group chat that we page out numbers in daily. So, you're essentially accountable to that kind of stuff. And that people are out there at the same time doing the same thing as you. And then you're paging your numbers afterwards. We technically have a team standard that you are supposed to hit every, week and stuff like that too. So that falls in line with paging out those numbers every day so we can see what you're doing. We also report everything in our group chat. So like anytime there's a sale, a listing, you get a new listing, you get a deal, we're always paging that out in the chat so that everyone's aware of what's going on. And honestly, if you're the only one that's never paging out a deal or a sale or anything, that's not a good feeling. You don't want to be that person. So again, I think that team environment, that healthy competition helps keep people accountable as well. And then another big thing is Mike and Riley. Like Mike and Riley as team leaders. Mike, not as much anymore because he's got a lot more back end work to do with the team. And his database is so large at this point, and his referral business is so large at this point that he doesn't need to do it as much. But Riley still goes out door knocking almost every single day as a team leader, and he pays out his numbers every single day as a team leader. So that's another thing. Like if your team leader is out there doing it, there's no reason why, you shouldn't be as a team member.
Yeah.
So those are a few things that we
sure.
do. And then also rewarding agents that are doing the work, right? When it does come to us handing out leads and helping them out in that way, we're going to look to the people that are out doing the work and putting in their time and showing up and helping out other people and doing that sort of stuff. Those are the people that we're going to reward first. So that helps too.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because I think from what I see, successful teams, like it's so important as a leader to lead from the front, right? So it's great that you guys have, Riley out there showing them, and that's awesome. What standards do you guys protect in your business no matter what?
You can go. Trying to think.
I would say so. I want to say our lead generation standards. That usually is the first and foremost, because it is the most important thing. We've had a bit of a unique, I would say, last 2 years with our team in particular, because almost every single person on our team has had a baby, and a lot of them being females. And obviously, what comes with that is needing time and taking a bit of a step back, and that's just the role sometimes, especially as a woman. So some of those standards have been a little bit hard to make sure that they haven't slipped a little bit in the last few years, and that's just being honest, and that's the reality. Yeah. Like I said, it's a challenge that we right now in the last 2 years have faced more than ever because of that. But again, it's just a season of life. We're all kind of in that season of life right now for the most part. Usually though, that would be one of the things that we protect at a high level, is the lead generation. And then I would say just the level of which we all do things as a team. So whenever we go on to a listing appointment or anything like that, making sure that every person on our team they're a representation of us, especially like of Mike and Riley, of course. We all do things to the same standard. So, we have a protocol of how like our listings go. We have a protocol of what they bring to a listing appointment, the type of material they bring, all that kind of stuff. So just making sure that stuff stays consistent as well, including, obviously like our photography, our staging, all that sort of stuff. There's just a certain team standard that, we all do things the same way. And that way, if we were to ever hand off a client to like a team member, we know it's going to be handled the same way it would if Mike or Riley were handling it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. What brokerage did you guys each start at? Okay. And then where were you? Sorry, Steevie? Century 21 as well?
He was Century 21. That was his first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Keller Williams was his second.
Yeah.
And that was the only two. And then I was Keller Williams from day one.
Okay.
Yeah. So KW has been the only other brokerage that I've been a part of.
What did you guys learn? Well, Michael, what did you learn in that chapter with C21 at that brokerage?
Just a good wake up call, really. Like, you don't know what the hell you're doing, man. Yeah. Like that was my biggest for that. Yeah. Like I said, if you want to stick around in this business, like you got to do something different. That was the biggest learning experience I got from that, for sure.
Yeah. What did you guys learn from your time at KW?
So when I went to KW, I joined a team. When I joined that team, they were at KW. So I had to go to KW and like kind of learned everything I knew at that point from the team. That was actually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Steevie. Sorry.
I learned so much at Keller Williams. I mean, same thing also to just starting there from scratch. You obviously, everything you just learned about the industry in general and what it means to become a real estate agent was done under that umbrella. Just learned a ton about how to actually run a business like a business, as opposed to just kind of like, going out there and trying to figure it out, like treating this, you're a self-employed person, but treating it like an actual business and a job and having structure and all that kind of stuff. Learned a ton about a lot of different things, to be honest. I did a lot of different things at Keller Williams. I had the opportunity to go from being a real estate agent and then obviously doing stuff with the team with Mike and Riley, and, even them always supporting a lot in that realm. I did some coaching. I had the opportunity to be a coach at Keller Williams for a little bit and coach some of the new agents. I also managed the office for almost 2 years. I was the team leader there for a while. So I did a lot of recruiting, a lot of that kind of stuff, supporting agents in their businesses and that sort of thing. Learned a ton there.
Awesome. At what point did you guys start to feel like, you needed a change or you needed something more?
Yeah, I think probably within the last few years or so. And I think the biggest reason why we needed that change was we had just exhausted all of the resources that at that time that Keller Williams had to offer. We did a lot of everything hands-on there. I like, as I'm sure you're aware, it's a huge training company. They're very well known for that. And we did a lot of that. We did all of the big name trainings that they're well known for, all of the conferences, like everything that you can think of that you would really want to like sink your teeth into and learn and experience. We did it all and multiple times. And then to the point where we did a lot of training, right? Like we provided a lot of training. We did a lot of that stuff. And it just felt like as a team, we got to kind of like a stagnant place, especially during a time, like I mentioned, in the last few years, a lot of our team has gone through transitions in their lives with having children and doing all that kind of stuff. And so we kind of got into a rut as a team of just, feeling stagnant and feeling like we needed to shake things up, but we weren't really sure what to do anymore. We tried coaching, we'd done, all the things, and it just felt like it was time. Like we just needed a fresh start, a new slate, and just some like newfound motivation, really.
Yeah. Yeah. When you guys were considering making a move, what were you looking for in that stage of kind of where you're at?
I just think some brand recognition. I can't tell you how many times, you'd pick up the phone and say, "Hey, it's Michael from Keller Williams." And they're like, "Who?" They just never know who the heck that was. And, even though there was times, even in Newmarket where, we had a lot of market share, it just wouldn't stick for a lot of people. And they wouldn't know what our company was or what we did, and just having to explain yourself. And then, then it would be fine after that. But I think that was a big thing for at least myself. It's nice not having to explain who the hell's calling. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've had conversations a couple times about that in the transition about we know as real estate agents, to be honest with you, like we are the ones that do the work, and the brand doesn't necessarily like matter. Like if you really run your business right and you know what you're doing and you focus on that. But if you go and put 20 business cards down to, someone outside of the industry, like 20 out of 20 times, they will recognize Remax over any other brand. And that's a huge thing. I also think we're in a really pivotal year in the industry. We were last year and especially coming into this year. And I think not just for agents, but I think for companies and brokerages. And I think we're going to see a lot of brokerages go out of business, to be honest with you. And I think at this point, the only ones that are going to last are some of the really big names and maybe some of the more cloud-based brokerages. But I think Remax is one of the ones that isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And I can't say that for a lot of the other companies in the near future.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I know what I want to ask you. So we have just started what we call the discovery process with you guys, right? Where we do a deep dive into your business, into your team. Have you guys, I know we sent that out to you. Have you guys gotten started on working on all that information and collecting it?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we've gone over everything. Mike and Riley know what they need to get me.
Yeah.
And I've started collecting some of the team member data and information and stuff for you as well. Yeah.
Okay, and are you guys feeling excited? How do you feel about this process?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's good. I think we don't know what we don't know, and
I'm overwhelmed.
It'll be a lot for sure, but it's something that I know we need to do, and we've never done it, and I'm thankful that we're getting pushed to do it because we just need to do it to better ourselves.
Yeah, sometimes it's that accountability, right? Like when awesome. Well, I'm excited to do it with you guys.
Gonna hurt, but we need it.
Yeah. Okay. What has been better than expected since joining Remax Hallmark?
Better than expected. I think just so again, it's hard to say because we're in very much transition here now with obviously all the construction and everything going on. But I think for us, one of the biggest things that we were really concerned about was we were at our previous brokerage for years and years and years. We had really laid down roots there with like our office space and just like that whole dynamic. And I think that was always like a really big fear for us of just like, what does that day to day look like somewhere else? Like right now we come and we know our office space. We know all of our agents have their own little like offices, everything's set up. Like it's just, we have such a system. And it was a little bit nerve wracking to just like I'm going to a new dynamic and not sure what that's going to look like. But in the first few weeks, especially before construction started, because we're a little bit out of sorts right now,
Yeah, for
but we were
sure.
loving coming into a new environment and just being here and just realizing that like it's going to be okay. And just having the change of scenery honestly was great.
Nice. Okay. So this is about leading through uncertainty. So when the industry feels uncertain and noisy, what advice would you give agents listening to this?
Definitely back to the basics, I think is super important. And you know what, if you're not seeing, you know what, the results that you want, just double down on your effort. I think that's what everybody should be focusing on this year. I think it's gonna be a tough year out there. I think last year was tough, and I think this year will be a little bit tougher. So, you know what, if you're, not talking to enough people to get to the business you want to, just talk to more people.
Yeah. Conversations equal contracts.
Simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's simple, not easy.
Yeah. What should agents look for in a brokerage partnership to make sure they protect their interests during this time?
I think to protect their interest during this time, I think having a confident leader is a really big thing. A leader who has seen a storm before, for sure, and knows that like you just have to charge through and kind of like leads the charge in that and isn't, worry, like putting worry and fear out there, that is, confident in the fact that the storm will pass and it'll be okay. I think that's a big thing, is having confidence in the person who's leading your company is a really big thing in uncertain times. I think, just the tools and the resources and the training and the information that people need right now, like sometimes, especially with the market, like changing constantly and the questions that you're getting asked and all that kind of stuff, having the people within your company and that are in the same boat as you to be talking about it and having those conversations that you can be relaying back to your clients and stuff like that. I think that's really important. Just like the tools, right? The tools that you need right now. Because again, at the end of the day, like it's up to you to go and do the work. Like no one can make you do that, but it's really important to have the backup and the just like the expertise to go to when you don't know what to do, right? Like when you are at a loss for an answer, you need to be able to turn to somebody.
Yeah. Cool. Michael, did you have anything to add? Or
I think, everything that, and I think just being somewhere, and I think having, and I've only probably recently changed my mind on this, just talking to, some agents that have been in the business for 30 years that, went through the late 80s, the early 90s and worked for other brokerages and, talking to them. And they always said, when that happened, he goes, the guys that always kept busy were the Remax guys always, because I think people in uncertain times just kind of leaned on a bigger brand instead of using, some of the smaller like mom and pop shops that were around at certain times. So I found that was quite interesting that they even, and they're big agents in town and, they don't work for Remax now, but, they would say that. And I thought that was always very interesting.
cool. What does success look like for you guys over the next 12 months?
For the next 12 months. For me, looking at it from a team perspective and what I'd love to see for the team is I just want to see every single one of our agents not struggling. Like I want to see every single agent being able to do well, to hit their goals. Every year at the beginning of the year, we do, obviously business planning and we do vision boards and all that, fun stuff. The success for me would be the team achieving that. Every single person on the team being able to achieve, what they've set out to achieve this year and feel good about themselves and their business. And because that's really a reflection on us as leaders. So that's probably would be the most success for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, looking at the team and as long as we can always constantly improve, and have better years than our previous years, no matter what the market's doing, I think that would definitely be success in my eyes for all the people on our team for sure.
Awesome. Okay.
I'd also love to get at least one more rock star agent on this team. So if anyone's looking to join a team,
that'd be great.
That's fun.
I was just going to get into that. So who is the right fit for your team?
So the right fit for our team. So one thing about us is that we aren't necessarily Our goal is not necessarily to grow like a massive team. It never really has been. We like to kind of run lean and mean. And there's like a, there's a kind of a healthy number, I think, in there. But I do think when you get to a certain number and a team becomes so large that it's run almost more like a small brokerage than it is a team, you kind of just become a number, and that can be difficult. We're our team is very much like a family. Like, we're very tight knit and oriented in that way. We all are friends outside of work. We do a lot of like stuff together outside of work. Mike and Riley have literally been best friends for years. They, went to high school together and everything. Like, again, we are really good friends. Riley is one of my best friends as well. And it's important that you fit into that dynamic. But like, we're a really good time. We love to have fun. We do, quarterly like team events. We like to like have some drinks and have a good time. And just someone that fits into that wants to work hard and be successful and have a good time doing it and come into the office every day with people that you actually like enjoy.
Yeah, cool. Who is not a fit for you guys?
Someone who is not coachable.
Yeah, I love that. Right? Yeah. If somebody's listening, quietly exploring options, and they're interested in talking more with you guys, what should they do? How should they get a hold of you?
They can reach out, me, but they can reach out to us,
Anybody.
Call us, email me, DM me, whatever.
So, or they can, if they drop a comment, we'll make sure they get in touch with you, or they can look up Volpe.
Yeah, Volpe Alcorn.
Volpe Alcorn Team online, and
the one that they would be meeting with, and then we would go from there.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. We're going to go into some rapid fire clips. I'll say who to answer first. Okay. Best book, Michael.
I don't know.
Okay. We'll come back to you. Stevie, best book.
I'm going to say The Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Holes.
Okay. Cool.
I thought we were going like real estate books here.
Mentor, Stevie.
Mentor. Oh my God. I honestly, like, this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's been Mike and Riley.
That's nice.
Okay. Cool.
I've had a couple. I'd say Marvin, Alexander, Tom Mitchell, been big mentors of mine for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marvin would be one for me.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay. We've already touched on this. One daily habit that drives your success. Michael.
Legion.
Yeah. Stevie.
The joy of loving telling Mike and Riley what they should be doing.
That gets you up every morning. Biggest misconception agents have about building a team.
Building a team?
Yeah.
Pretty much that it's just like they should do it when they just want to. Like, if they have success, they think that they should just do it because it's time, and just basically that it's, I don't know, going to be a lot easier than it is and not as much money as it is.
I don't know what the misconception would be.
People needing a team when they don't quite yet need a team.
Maybe I'd say that. Yeah.
I'll tell you the biggest one that I see.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is I'm going to start a team so I can stop selling.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's possible and you can do it, but it's not like as quickly as people think, and it takes a lot more. Yeah. One thing you would do if you were starting again with zero database.
I would never stop door knocking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It works, right? Door knocking works.
It works. You need that database, and you would just, as if you were doing 100 on a day, you do, 400 now. Just build it as fast as you can.
For me, it would be joining a team earlier and social media, like strategically earlier than I did the last time.
Yeah, love it. The agents who win in the next 2 years will be the agents, will be the ones who
take market share.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic time to take market share, right?
Yeah. Okay. Widen the gap for sure.
Guys, this was awesome. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
I know this is going to help a lot of people watching. If anyone wants to connect with Stevie, with Michael, with Riley, drop a comment or look them up, send them a message. They're easy to get a hold of. And thanks again, guys, for being here. Yeah. One last thing, just to be clear, anybody that is interested in learning more about Remax Hallmark, drop us a comment and we'll get back to you. And thanks again, guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you.